So we will continue our discussion on social sector module. Okay, so we have started our 10th module, that is social sector. So far we have completed 2 lectures in this. We talked about inequality, and in inequality we have talked about important ratios like Palma ratio, quintile ratio, decile ratio, quartile ratio, all those things we have covered. And then we have talked about most important question from prelims point of view, that is Lorentz curve. And I have told you how to draw the Lorentz curve of India. Okay, so it's actually a graphical representation of inequality, and we have drawn the Lorentz curve of India, and we have seen that values, actual values. And then we have talked about Gini coefficient, which is nothing but an arithmetic measure of inequality, which is based on Lorentz curve itself. Okay, and then we have started off with poverty. We have discussed different types of poverty, and we have also discussed the methods or the types or measures or the measurement of poverty. We have discussed 3 expert group, that is Lakdawala Committee. Okay, and then we talked about Suresh Tendulkar Committee, Rangarajan Committee, Suresh Tendulkar Committee, and the criticisms we have discussed in detail. And then we have discussed about Rangarajan Committee. So as per Suresh Tendulkar Committee, it was 33 rupee in urban area and 27 rupee in rural area is the poverty line. And when it came to Rangarajan Committee, Dr. C. Rangarajan Committee, it was 47 rupee in urban area and 32 in rural area. Okay, so this is what we have discussed so far, and as per this committee, the poverty ratio is actually 22%, head count ratio, that is number of poors divided by total population into 100, that is 22%, and this is obviously more, that is 30%. So this is what we have done so far. Now what we will do is we will go for some analysis, or I'll give you some data for analysis. We'll talk about the 3 different expert groups, and we'll go for a small analysis which will actually help you in understanding this concept and for your exam. Okay, so let me draw a table. You can draw this table along with me. Those who are drawing along with me, you can draw it now itself. So here head count ratio, Lakdawala Committee. Head count ratio means poverty ratio only. This is nothing but poverty ratio. And then Dr. Suresh Tendulkar. And then this is also, here we will go for 3 head count ratio. Okay. Then number of poors. And we will also see rural, urban, both head count ratio. Okay. And then Dr. C. Rangarajan. So this is what we are actually going to do. The years 1973-74. Okay. So Lakdawala, based on Lakdawala Committee, it is 54.9% are poor, and 73-74 that we are not calculating on the basis of Suresh Tendulkar or Rangarajan. 93-94, we see 93-94, 36% here, and here it is 45.8%. So 45.8% means around 40.3 crore people are poor. 40.3 crore. 40.3 crore people are poor. Okay, then 2004-5, 21.8% under Lakdawala Committee. So here it is 37.2%, and 40.7 crore percentage of people are poor. Okay, 2009-10. Now we are done away with the Lakdawala Committee, so we will be not writing here. So here Suresh Tendulkar 29.8% and 35.4 crore people are poor. As per Rangarajan, 38.2%. So this is 29.8, this is 38.2. Obviously it will be high, okay, because criteria is different. Then 2011-12, the latest, that is 21.9% and 26.9 crore people are poor. Okay, there's 25.7% in rural and 13 6.7 in urban. Okay, you can remember those values also. Then 29.5%. Okay, so it is very difficult to remember all those things. I don't want you to remember. What is required is this 21.9, that is 22%, as I have already told you. This 30% also you can remember this. These two values is what you need to remember. Okay, so in economic survey you will see this value 21.9 because they are favoring the Suresh Tendulkar Committee recommendation. And number of so what is the analysis? Poverty is actually reducing. So analysis, if you see, poverty is reducing. Here you can see poverty reducing. Here you can see poverty reducing. Here you can see poverty reducing. And if you see number of poor in the mid of 2000s, it was not reducing, but after that the poor are actually reducing. So this is the analysis which I want to tell you. Poverty ratio at any point of time, it is completely decreasing in all the committee recommendations. You can see here reducing, in Suresh Tendulkar reducing, Rangarajan reducing. Number of poor in the up to the mid of 2000, it is not reducing. And then after that, mid of 2000 onwards, 2004-5 onwards, the reason we have already discussed. 2004-5, after that the UPA government came to power, and then they have started with a lot of good programs like MGNREG and all those. Then this Food Security Act and all those things are coming. So government intervention has actually increased more. So see what happened. 91 reform, we have discussed the impact of reform. What happened? Poverty actually increased rather than decreasing. Number of poor actually increased. Unemployment is increased. So the reason is, when you went for the reform, it was not labor intensive things actually happened. It is capital intensive investments actually came. So that led to unemployment, poverty, contrary to the expectation. What was the expectation? Expectation was that poverty will come down, employment opportunities will be created, unemployment will reduce. But contrary to all this expectation, since the investment came in the capital intensive expenditure investment, the unemployment rate actually increased and poverty is actually increased. So government cannot sit silent without any intervention. So government started interfering more. Government took a step back from 91 to mid of 2000. But from mid of 2000 onwards, government started interfering more in terms of more better programs for poverty alleviation, employment opportunities. Okay, so this changes something which you can visible, and it's a very drastic change and a very important change. Unemployment situation has improved, poverty situation has improved. When we talk about the unemployment situation also, I'll tell this. Okay, so I hope you understood. Next important concept that we need to discuss is international poverty line. International poverty line. Who measures this? It is measured by World Bank. Okay, so what is the poverty line? Poverty line is actually $1.9 at purchasing power parity. We have already discussed about this purchasing power parity. At that time also I have told you World Bank measures the poverty line on the basis of purchasing power parity exchange rate, not market exchange rate. If it is market exchange rate, what is this 1.9 now? 1.9, this is 74, it's close to 150 rupee, right? 75, if it is 150 or 140 rupees, it will definitely come. So per person per day 140 rupee means, and here we are talking about 27 rupee. So this is not market exchange rate, it is at purchasing power parity. That is rupee 18. $1 is rupee 18. So if you convert this will be coming around rupee 34. That is very close to Suresh Tendulkar. That was rupee 33. And that is the reason why Suresh Tendulkar Committee report is more acceptable, as it is very close to the World Bank. World Bank measured international poverty line. How international poverty line is measured? International poverty line is nothing but the average of poverty lines of poorest 15 countries, selected poorest 15 countries, not from the bottom you are taking, not necessarily data are available for all the poorest countries. So the selected poorest countries like India and all you'll be taking, and the average of that poverty line will be taken. That is the international poverty line. Now poverty ratio, I'll give you H is equal to, in case of India, 21.3%. So you can directly relate this with Rangarajan Suresh Tendulkar Committee. Suresh Tendulkar Committee, as per Suresh Tendulkar Committee, it was 22%. As per Rangarajan Committee, it was 30%. So a World Bank poverty ratio is very close to Suresh Tendulkar, because the reason is poverty line is very close. Okay, the criteria may be different. Poverty line is very close. World poverty ratio is 12.8. okay, so we have almost double of the world average. Okay, so we have discussed three type of poverty now, poverty lines. What are the three types? So far we have discussed about three types of poverty lines. One by Planning Commission or now Niti Aayog. That is what Suresh Tendulkar, Lakdawala, this Rangarajan, all these three we have discussed. Then we have also discussed about the World Bank, that is International Poverty Line, and then we have also discussed about multi-dimensional poverty index. Okay, that is coming along with HDR, Human Development Report by UNDP. If you remember that we have done in the previous chapter, you can go back and you can watch that video. One single video we have done multi-dimensional poverty index. So what is so now see the different poverty ratios. H as per Rangarajan 30%, as per Suresh Tendulkar 22%, as per World Bank 21.3%, and as per MPI it was 55%. Why this huge difference? Because 10 indicators. Which one is better? Obviously MPI is much better because every element is taken into consideration which is required as per basic amenities. But the problem is with the calculation. How to calculate is the biggest headache. Okay, so I hope this is clear for all of you. Now let's discuss some of the important terms related with poverty. Okay, terms related with measurement of poverty. Okay, the first one, poverty ratio. We have already done this, poverty ratio, or it is also known as head count ratio. So how is it represented in terms of H? What is this? It is number of poor divided by total population into 100. So this is how I told you 22%, 33%, etc. Number of poor based on poverty line divided by total population into 100. So this shows how much poverty is there. Okay, the extent of poverty. So I would write here extent of poverty. This shows the extent of poverty. So poverty ratio, I hope you understood. Second one, poverty gap index. Okay, PGI. First I'll tell what is it and then I'll explain what is the need of it and how is it calculated. Okay, so it is nothing but poverty line minus average income of poor divided by poverty line into 100. Okay, so how is it calculated? It is calculated like this. Let's suppose this is the poverty line and then these are the poor people. So let's say this is the average income. So this gap was there, no? So you can, this poverty line, this poverty line, average income of poor, okay, then poverty line, so that you can calculate. Now what is the reason why this is required? See, let's take the case of two countries, country A and country B. Okay, so in country A, let's say some people are there. Okay, some people are there. Country B also some people are there. Now divided by let's say same population is there, even then that will be much better. Same population is there. This is the poverty line. Poverty line in both countries are same. Okay, now in country A, poor people are standing here, and in country B, poor people are here. So you can see here two countries, population remain the same, poverty line is same, number of poor are same, but the level of well-being in these two countries are same or not? It is different. Or level of the life of this poor people in both countries are same or different? It will be totally different. These people are deprived of basic amenities like anything. Here they are very close to the poverty line. So in which country government need to take more effort to take the poor people out of poverty? Here you need more effort because they are at the bottom. Here you need less effort. Okay, so here if you take just the poverty ratio or headcount ratio in these two countries are same because number of poor are same, population is also same, so headcount ratio will be same. But will that give you the level of actual picture? It won't give you. That is the reason why. Or will that give you the effort that the government have to put in to take the people out of poverty? No. That is why we are going to take poverty gap index. So this gap you can see, that much effort is what government have to put in to take the people out of poverty. Okay, so this shows the severity of poverty, or this shows the intensity of poverty. Okay, shows intensity or severity of poverty. So the first one shows the extent of poverty, this shows the intensity or severity of poverty, how much effort that the government have to put in to take the people out of poverty. Okay, so I hope you understood with this example. You can see here two countries, number of poor are same, poverty line is same, headcount ratio is same in both countries, but the level of well-being is totally different. Country A is much better in this case compared to country B. Okay, in both cases only 4 poor are there, but in country B you need to take more effort to take them out of poverty, because in country B they are more vulnerable, they are deprived of almost all the basic amenities. Okay, next concept is squared poverty gap index. Squared poverty gap index. Okay, what is this? I'll just see, it is nothing but individual poverty gaps you'll take and you square it. Okay, so what is poverty gap index? Poverty line minus average income of poor divided by poverty line, right? This is the poverty gap, poverty line minus average income of poor, poverty line. Now what you need to do is, this poverty gaps you take for individuals, that means poverty line instead of average, poor 1 divided by poverty line, then square it. Then again poor 2, then square it. Poor 3, you square it. Poor 4, you square it. Poor n, you square it, and divided by n. Take the average. So let me show you how is it done. So poverty line minus YP1. Y is income in economics, not I. I is used for investment. Why we are using Y? Because yearly income. So we are using Y for income. YP1 means income of poor 1 divided by poverty line. You can see here, poverty line, average income of poor, instead of average now we are calculating individuals. So poor 1 we have taken, then divided by poverty line, we're gonna square this, plus you do the same with the second poor, poverty line minus YP2 divided by poverty line square, plus, see how is it done and all these things you don't want to understand, no problem. This mathematics side anyway I'm discussing, so I'm just covering this maths also. But why is it required? Why it is used? What is the difference? I'm going to tell that after explaining this this particular concept. We'll discuss that. How is it different from poverty gap index? Okay, just now I hope you understood how poverty gap index is required if there is, even if there is a headcount ratio is there. Headcount ratio is not enough to explain everything, so we need poverty gap index. So poverty gap index also might have some problem, so we need this squared poverty gap index. Okay, so I'll show you with illustration. So PL minus Y P3 divided by PL, like this, PL minus YPN divided by PL, and divided by, so n people are there, so divided by n. Okay, so n is the total number of people. Why we are going with this? Okay, let's take this example, country A and country B. Okay, so some let's say almost same population. This is the poverty line. So poverty line in both countries are same. Now number of poor is also same in both countries. Now let's see this case, number of poor are standing here. This is the average. Okay, this is the average. Here also this is the average. Let's say the reason why that is the average is because here the poor are like this. So average is this. Here the poor are like this. So average is this. Now you can see a very difficult situation here. So poverty line is same. Average income of poor is also same. Number of poor is also same. So in this case, H will be same in both countries. No doubt in this. H will be same. Why? Because number of poor are 4 in both countries. Population is also same. So H will be same in both countries. When you take this one, I is what intensity of poverty or poverty gap index. I will also be same. Why? Poverty line is same. So poverty line minus, you can see average is same in both countries, because this is the average, no? Average you can see. This is how I can explain you. There's the easy way to explain you. So I hope you will understand this. So average also same. So poverty line minus average divided by poverty line will be same in both countries, because in both countries poverty line and average income of poor is same. So I will also be same. But do you think the level of well-being is same in both countries? No. Here you can see these people are deprived of all the basic amenities. So country B is definitely performing worst than country A. Our country A is comparatively better in terms of country B. So how will you do this? The small minute things will be captured when you are squaring it. That is the reason why you are squaring it. So when you are squaring it, it will count that inequality in country B. That is why we are going for squared poverty gap index. So it measures severity of poverty and it takes into account the inequality among the poor. So the first one, extent of poverty. Second one, severity or the extent of poverty or the intensity of poverty. Third one, the severity as well as inequality will also be reflected here. Okay. Now the next one is fourth one, Sen index of poverty. It is actually a concept given by Amartya Kumar Sen, Professor Amartya Kumar Sen. I'll directly write it here. We don't want to waste the time. S is equal to H into I plus 1 minus I into G. Okay. So this is the concept given by Amartya Kumar Sen. So this is nothing but Sen index. H we already know, that is head count ratio. So what it will give you? It will give you extent of poverty. I we know, that is poverty gap index. Okay. What it will give you? It will give you intensity or severity of poverty. This I is nothing but the PGI only. And what is this? G. G is the Gini coefficient. What it will give you? It will give you understanding about inequality. So head count ratio will give you extent of poverty. This will give you severity of poverty. This will give you inequality. So it is one of the it is something which will give you complete understanding about the situation. So it is almost similar to, multidimensional poverty index. So different dimensions are captured, but the problem is, you need to know the you don't want to know the calculation. You need to know the differences in all this four. So I hope you understood this. Forget about the formulas and everything. So this captures all the three. So this is one of the better measurement. It captures everything. It is similar to MPI, multidimensional poverty index. So this is what we started off with. Okay, just leave it. Anyway, you leave this. What I want to tell you is poverty ratios directly reducing every committee every year. It is reducing, whether it is Lakdawala, Suresh Tendulkar or Rangarajan. Poverty number of poor was not reducing up till mid 2000s, but from 2000 mid onwards it is reducing. The reason also I have told you, government is now more towards the welfare programs. Okay, not leaving everything for market. Market will not produce for the poor people. Okay, market will produce only if there is a demand. If I'm feeling hungry but if I don't have food, nobody is going to produce for me, because demand is something which what is demand? Demand is an ability to buy, ability and willingness to buy. So if I'm hungry, I'm willing to buy, but I may not have the ability to buy. So it won't create demand. So I need to have the money. So I need to have the purchasing power. Then only people will produce for me. So a beggar who's hungry, that is not going to create demand for food in the market if you don't have money. I hope you understood. Okay. So market won't do social justice. So government intervention is required. So reform alone will not do anything. Trickle down you can expect, but it will take long time to trickle down. It will take long time. All the developed countries, if you take, it took long time for trickle down. And you can see almost all the developed countries or the capitalist countries are the better welfare countries. Okay, their policies towards welfare is much more than even the socialist countries also. Okay, so then we talked about we talked about poverty ratio. H, I hope you understood. Poverty gap index we have discussed. H shows the extent of poverty. I shows the severity or intensity of poverty. Then we talked about squared poverty gap index. You understood that also. It measures inequality. It shows inequality. Sen index of poverty. You need to know the difference between these four, and each is giving what you need to know. I hope this discussion is clear for you. Reading textbooks and understanding this will take a lot of time, but I hope this is clear for all of you. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me here. There's Instagram or Facebook. You can get in touch with me. You can even get my phone number from the Facebook only, and you can join the Telegram channel for all my videos. Okay, so see you guys. Thank you.